In 2019, Fair City actor Bryan Murray was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and ever since he has used his profile to raise awareness of the disease.
Here to give an update on her husband's condition is actor Úna Crawford O'Brien. Una, thanks so much for joining us this morning. How are you?
I'm okay, but first of all, I'll correct you. I'm not his wife.
You're not married. You're not married. I was thinking the very same thing, actually. Sorry,
everybody
your
thinks
partner,
that. Yeah.
But you've been together so long, and of course, we've had you, both of you, on this couch so many times, and on the 6 o'clock show as well. And particularly, you've both been so direct and so honest and so straight and so funny and wonderful, the two of you together. Every time that we've seen you together, it's almost strange not to have him here. This morning. There was big news over the last couple of weeks that he was retiring from Fair City, and he was in that role for 20 years, Bryan was. And our immediate thought was, I hope he's still all right. How are things going for you now? And tell us about the decision to step away from acting.
He wanted to continue for as long as possible, so I wanted him to continue for as long as possible. And I have to say a huge thank you, and I'll do it now at this moment in time, to Bridget DeCourcy, our executive producer, and to the cast and crew. They were incredible, facilitating us for the last, while, and especially the outpouring of love from them that we got since we came out and said he was retiring. But I had to make the heartbreaking decision for him because he was finding it difficult. He wasn't enjoying it the way he was before. The best thing you could have given Bryan, all his life basically, was a script. If he got a script into his hand, it was incredible. He came to life. He'd sit down, he'd study it, he'd learn his lines. And it got to the stage when it was distressing him a little bit and not quite getting the intonations that were being fed to him through the earpiece. And he might give, a wrong intonation to something, and then it would upset him. And so the time had come for him to go out, not with people feeling sorry for him, but for him to go out on a bit of a high still. And that was important.
But 20 years is such a long time. And of course, that's where you met and you got together. So while your love story blossomed, we all watched it, all that over all those years. And now at this point, when you said you had to make that decision, it's must be very comforting that so many people love and care for him in that way.
Yes. Our love affair on Fair City happened before our real love affair. It actually happened first. It did. And so it was lovely. But, the emotion that I have felt from people and the praise for him. And when he started out, Cyril Cusack was his mentor as such, and he looked up to him, and I think Cyril guided him a lot at the time. And I know some of the younger actors in Fair City would say the same about Bryan. And they were so full of their, joy at having worked with him and learning. Bryan was always somebody who would unconsciously, be imparting his knowledge with others.
I think I remember back in the day, was he in the Irish RM?
He was.
Many years ago. I think that's the first role I ever saw him in.
Yeah.
And that's many moons ago. So he's been on our screen so many years.
Exactly. In actual fact, the Irish RM is on this morning, and he is in respite as we speak. He went in on Thursday, and I rang them and I said, would you turn the television on for him? Because the Irish RM, and he will enjoy it. He will recognise himself.
So long-term memory is his long-term and short-term memory. As of course we know with Alzheimer's, the short-term memory goes first.
It's gone completely.
Yeah, completely.
Gone completely, and the long-term is going.
So he still can see the Irish RM, whereas perhaps what he did the most recent storyline in Fair City, he wouldn't be au fait with.
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know that what he had for his breakfast this morning. But things like the Irish RM, he will recognise, and he'll recognise himself.
It's comforting for him.
Yes.
It's comforting for him. I think when it comes to Alzheimer's and dementia, it's terribly hard to see someone you love so much going through that. But when it comes to the support around them and the carers and the people who have to look after them, not only they're mentally distressed, but it's physically demanding as well, having to do all that. How has the journey been for you?
The only positive thing I can say about it is that it's gradual. You don't wake up and it's there. I knew before he was diagnosed that it was a great possibility. And so it wasn't a surprise. So I have adapted and adopted things, and we have learned along the journey, and it's probably just as well that it doesn't happen overnight, because it's heartbreaking. And the person that I fell in love with, he's not really there now. He had such a love of life. He was so, you know, just, if he had a bit of money, where are we going? What are we doing? You know, so Bryan would never have any money because he'd always want to do something or go someplace. And we had fantastic holidays, and that's gone.
All he wants to be is home.
All he wants to be is at home. And when he's at home, he doesn't know it's home.
How do you deal with that? How do you kind of comfort him when he is distressed through that?
It's very hard. It's very hard, because like he'll say to me, please bring me home. You're breaking my heart that you won't bring me home. And I'll say to him, well, where's home? Thinking it might be his childhood home. But it's not, because we've gone there and we visited, and that's not what he wants. Adele Carey, who is the most wonderful woman that I met, she runs a course called Féileacán Bán. You and I were saying we loved butterflies, and of course Féileacán is the Irish for butterfly. And she says that it's a feeling, that home is a feeling. But I'm not sure what the feeling is, because you try and support him and, you know, wrap him up in love and warmth, but it doesn't seem to be enough.
Mm. You've been on our screens. You've both still been on our screens in Fair City. You've been working as well as being a carer. You've been working as well. Is that right?
Well, that's my sanity. You know,
going to work.
Yeah, I love it. And when you can get out, and I work with great people. I mean, I've already thanked them, so I'm not saying that. But you know, it's great. And but the logistics of looking after Bryan at the same time is difficult. Last Wednesday, I was working, and I had 4 different people coming in to look after him so that I could go to work. And between every scene, I'd go up and check my phone to make sure there wasn't something happening. So that's actually why he is in respite just for the moment, because I'm working next week and the week after, and yeah.
Can you see a time, or obviously the condition declines and the longer it goes on, the more rapid it may be. Will there be a time, do you think, and will you be able to I suppose, deal with it when he does have to go into full-time care, or you'll need to bring full-time care into the house?
I said the other day, and I'll say it again, I'm doing a Scarlett O'Hara. I think about it tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, it is one of those things, and it is, I mean, the idea of Bryan going into a home is just incredible, you know. And yet I know, my mother had Alzheimer's, so I know what I'm dealing with. I knew from the very beginning. But the realisation of it happening, I've seen I have made great friends since this journey began. Something I wouldn't have thought was going to happen, and I have. And I have seen their partners and their husbands go in to nursing homes, and it's heartbreaking. But some of them have said to me, it's actually better, because sometimes the relationship then becomes better because you're not the carer anymore. Mm-hmm. You can go in and you can, you know, you can be maybe in better form because you haven't been upset for the last half an hour or 2 hours or whatever.
Do you feel guilty for asking for help?
Of course. I mean, it's one of the things I should have done earlier, was ask for help, and I didn't, because I'm one of these people who think I can cope. I can cope. I'll do it. I'll be fine. And I should have asked for help earlier. I now have it, and it's great. You know, to be able, on a Tuesday, he has someone from the Alzheimer Society, and they come, and I will go out on a Tuesday morning. His brother takes him in the afternoon. So I nearly have a day on Tuesday that's mine. And it's, you know, that's fantastic as well. But you kind of feel guilty going out then as well. So it's
complicated.
It's complicated. That's the right word for it.
Complex emotions going through it. And of course, the Alzheimer's Society is such a great help to so many families.
Yeah.
And you've been working with them for quite a while as well. I remember from being on the couch with yourself.
Yeah, because I mean, Tea Day, I'll get in the plug.
Yeah.
Tea Day is coming up on Thursday, the 1st of May. And this is the 3rd year that Bryan and I have been the ambassadors for it. Bryan would always be beside me here, talking about it up to now, but I'm doing it myself this time. And I think it's just that the help that they give people. And one thing I would say, they have a helpline, and if you feel that you need some help, get on to the helpline. It's helpline at alzheimer.ie, and they're working Monday to Saturday, and they will get back to you if you contact them on a Sunday. And it's just to know that they're there. If you don't know what to do next, or how am I going to cope with something, they're there.
Well, there's also, like, that's the thing, and I mentioned at the very beginning, you and Bryan coming in together, that the real value of you coming in is to raise that kind of awareness and to be involved with the society. And you mentioned off air, which is probably worth mentioning to people watching, that people might have suspicions about someone in their life, or a thought that maybe something isn't quite right, and there's no harm in just reaching out and finding out.
No, exactly. I mean, it took me a few months to actually say to Bryan, will you go and get help? I was afraid how he would react. In actual fact, he reacted fantastically. He said, yes, of course. You know, it was no kind of bother to him. We were on a beach and there was nobody around, and I thought, let him roar and shout at me if he wants, but he didn't. And he said he would. And so I had put the pressure on myself, and but he did go. And so I wasn't surprised when he was diagnosed. But that's what I would say. Go. If you have fears about it, go and get help.
And work on it together, manage it.
There's actually a documentary that started, I don't know if you remember, there was a play written for him a couple of years ago, An Old Song Half Forgotten. And this documentary started because it's being produced by Soft Productions, and it was following Dee Kinahan's writing and then the production itself and happening in the Peacock Theatre, and they followed us around. But they've actually now continued, and they're continuing following his life and maybe our life together. And I think it's going to be powerful because it's seeing the decline in him as well. You know, which is heartbreaking. And one of the producers, Natasha Duffy, she actually sees that he loves to read scripts still. He does that. So she has come and she's reading scripts with him. She's reading O'Casey. And he's loving it. He's enjoying that.
You know what? It's the little things that you can do every single day and take every day as it comes, because that's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Una, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and give our love to Bryan when you see him.
I will indeed.